For those that are joining, we're just going to spend 3-4 minutes here waiting for people to make their way into the room. If you're joining on Twitter, just a reminder that this is a listening-only simulcast, so you're hearing a call that's happening in Nouns Discord. I'm going to pin a tweet to the top of the spaces that will take you into the Discord if you'd like to interact with us. Otherwise, you can listen here, but we won't be able to. You won't be able to speak due to microphone feedback. So, how's Germany up, Toshi?
Germany is incredible. ETH Berlin was amazing, and it sounds like a lot of the people there are going to be in Bogota at the end of October. So I think that more and more people have definitely been saying that they're going to show up there. Were you, Honk, I think, going there as well? If you can't speak, that's fine, but...
I have no interest in going to Germany ever.
No, Bogota.
Colombia.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yes, I am going to Bogota.
You're going to check out the bibliothèque?
Biblioteca, you mean?
Hey, you mean what you mean, I mean what I mean.
So tell us about ETH Berlin, though, Aptosh. You were there with Nouns on the Ground. It was a last-minute change, I think, because NFT Nashville was canceled.
Yes, NFT Nashville had canceled their main event. I do know that some restaurants and things around were doing some speaker events, even though the main event was canceled or postponed, I guess. So luckily, Poap had told me in my channel about ETH Berlin, so I was able to make that happen. It's actually my first time over here in Europe, but it was really, really awesome. NFT Expoverse and these events have been great. But here at this event, people really knew about Nouns already. So they were coming up to me. I was wearing the glasses the whole time. I got some awesome interviews. I got to meet people who had actually forked Nouns back in February, but I had never heard of them before. So it was really interesting to see the recognition amongst the hacking community of Nouns DAO.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I understand you went to Oktoberfest and talked to a bunch of people who had no idea about Nouns.
Well, I'm here now in Munich, and we'll probably be going down to check out Oktoberfest and run around and see if I can get some awesome Noggles content with people in their outfits. So it's a pretty big deal over here.
Awesome. For those just joining, this is our weekly community call. It's an Ask Us Anything. We sort of alternate between having themed Ask Us Anythings and open call. This is really an open forum. You can ask any question that you may have about Nouns. So if you have one, don't be shy. Just unmute your mic and we'll call on you. If you're in the Twitter audience and you have a question, you can just leave it as a comment to the pinned tweet. I'll keep an eye there and we'll answer any questions that come in. That way, I do have one question to start us off, and that would be, Aptoshi, why are you working on your birthday?
I mean, I don't know. It's just another day, I suppose. I did celebrate last night, though, so I'm all good on the celebration part.
That's great. Anybody here have a question for us to get things started?
How old are you?
I am 32 today.
Doxed.
That's very old.
Yes, I know, but hey, it's been the best year already, so
the year
a big
of
Nouns year. I also really encourage anyone who is listening just on Twitter to pop over here to the Nouns Discord. These have been awesome spaces, and we've been getting actually a lot of questions answered. We've had some people launch their own projects sort of from questions that were answered here in the community call. So I've been looking forward to these every single week.
I think it was last week or maybe the week before, it was brought up by SQ from Lil Nouns that we need some sort of a solution for a Nouns-wide calendar. And I mean, that couldn't be more true today than ever, because today we had Nouns AI call. Happened to coincide with 9 o'clock. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that because 9 o'clock's moving, but I mean, that was one thing. And now Little Nouners are having a big brainstorming session. They've got 30 people in their Discord there. So we're missing a bunch of our,
that as well.
Yeah. So we need to collaborate on these and get it done so that we know what's happening when. And then you could just subscribe to one calendar and have all the info that you need.
great free idea there for anybody.
That's right. Ideas there for the picking. Honk, you don't have enough going on. Why don't you do that?
Do what?
Make it so that Rocco can go and find out all the events that are happening all over the Nouniverse, and then give us a feed of it.
Look, man, as much as I like to say that Rocco will assume legitimately everything that you would want in a bot, you got to start telling Joel to do things too with Nerman. You know, before Rocco just completely steamrolls the stuff he's doing, we got to get some more utility out of Nerman for all those sorts of things to be absorbed first, man. It's like a trapper keeper.
Nerman's pretty cool too. He's running up in his own Discord. He can do some pretty cool things. So it'll be cool to see both of them working in tandem. I, for one, submit to our robot overlords. Cryptasha, nice to see you. Did you come with a question?
No, I was just in the Twitter Spaces, and I'm just popping over here.
Well, hello.
Nice.
Hello, no questions yet, sorry.
That's okay. How did your Shark DAO Spaces go today on SoapBox?
It went well. Yeah, so Marxist talked about the Shark Street comic, and we've posted a lot of it on Shark DAO now, because the second edition is now ready to be minted. So, and then there's a creator contest where, so we have Frogger, which is our frog now, and there's a creator contest going on where, you know, just any ideas that people have regarding any personality traits or storylines with Frogger can be submitted through that creator contest. And we're giving away 0.4 ETH total for the winners.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
for sure.
Love story building and lore of any kind too, and just think that that's always a great addition for projects.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I love the comics so far. So we had Comics DAO on to talk about, you know, his thing too. So
Nice.
it's really cool.
Comics DAO is coming on tomorrow on 9 o'clock as well to talk even more about it. So, hey Ramon, how are you doing? Hello. We're doing an open Ask Us Anything here today. So far we haven't had any questions. I know a bunch of folks are making their way over from Little Nouns, but if you're just joining and you have a question, it's completely open. Anyone can just unmute their mic and we'll call on you to ask a question and do our best to answer it. So if you do have a question or a comment, go ahead. Ramon, did you guys want to talk to us really briefly about your prop that's up right now? Maybe Akfa can help you translate.
Hey, yes, I'm typing to Ramon here on DM. Ramon, ele perguntou se tem alguma dúvida que tu queira tirar com eles ou se tu gostaria de falar sobre a tua proposta. Tá agora na própria house.
Tirar a discussão aqui é sobre algum tema específico hoje?
Não, é um Ask Me Anything, então para perguntar qualquer coisa para eles, mas tu pode aproveitar e falar da própria, a gente pode falar o que tu acha.
Ok. Eu posso falar um pouco do que é da própria house da primeira, né?
Uhum.
E
Pode ser?
eu posso falar também do que a gente tá querendo fazer agora, que inclusive era para ter uma reunião hoje. Pode ser?
Pode ser. Eu vou traduzir, eu vou dizer aqui.
Introdução e tu me traduz depois.
Okay, so I will translate.
Thank you.
Basically, Ramon will share with us a bit about what he made before in the skate park in Rio, and then later he's going to share with us the second prop that it's coming. I mean, we just got the approval on the prop house, on the Nouns prop house, and it's somehow similar, but it's more like a street culture festival. I don't know if we can talk about this because we're here to ask questions and not to answer, but
Yeah,
let
we're
me
here.
know.
We're here for questions, but no one has put their hand up yet. So we might as well have some interesting Nounish conversation while we wait for some questions. But so if he wants to give a brief statement about 142, which proposal 142, nounifying Brazil and Web3 workshops in the communities of Rio de Janeiro. I know that he's involved on that one. So if he wants to give us a quick 2-minute summary of that, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course. Just going to say this to Ramon. Ramon, rapidão, vou falar da 142 com eles aqui, beleza? E daí depois a gente volta no assunto. Do Giriba, só vou falar um pouco sobre isso, depois a gente...
Pode ser.
So yeah, basically for this proposal 142, it's a proposal made by Giriba. So Giriba, it's a copywriter for Shapeshift DAO.
Okay.
And I met him on Twitter. And we started discussing about nouns, so it was like a mind connection pretty fast. And basically, he said to me, this was like 2 months ago, that he had this idea about creating a proposal with Bob Burnquist Institute and to teach Web3 for teenagers. And basically, he shared the proposal with me, and I told him, man, if you want my help, I'm here to help. And he said, yeah, of course. So we just jumped into a call of 3 hours and started implementing the things that I think it would be necessary to the prop. And then later we finished basically the proposal. Be helped later with some details. And in the end, we started gathering feedback from the community. So I remember I pitched the idea in Nouns server for like 10 persons there, I think. And we implemented some feedback we got. And then later the prop was ready, and we decided with Giriba and Gami to submit it through NARS.
Yeah.
Because I mean it's very related. But the thing that in the beginning we're thinking about the best way to approve the proposal, so that's why we're thinking about Nouns in the beginning, and we didn't think about NARS because we believe it's too high asked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 12 ETH, it's a lot for NARS Vault.
Yeah.
And that's why we decided to go on chain with Nouns. I will send a message to Giriba to see if he's online. I was talking with him in WhatsApp. But yeah, so basically this is how everything went. And we're excited to see this prop going on chain.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a neat proposal in the sense too that it's a DAO to DAO proposal. As I understand it, NARS was able to make the proposal directly from the snapshot in their own DAO, so it was kind of like seamless, which is neat.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was something you could actually do, so that's something I learned this week as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gami keeps innovating. Always.
For sure.
Always.
Anybody who's just joining, we're doing an open Ask Us Anything here, so don't be shy if you have a question about anything Nouns related. Completely open forum today. You can just unmute your mic and we'll call on you and you can ask your question. If you're on Twitter, you're listening to a simulcast, so you can't ask your questions on Twitter, but you could also come over, join us here in the Discord, or you can post a comment to the pinned tweet, and we're keeping an eye there for any questions that people may have. Anybody who's newly joined here have a question about nouns or anything nounish? Or questions maybe about Prop 142, which we just heard about.
You can also type your questions in the voice public chat if you aren't comfortable unmuting your mic, but definitely open forum. Feel free to just ask away.
I see Jariba just joined us. Akva, does he speak English or only Portuguese?
Yes, sir. He speaks English. So I think he'll be able to transfer. Just need to talk slowly. Hey, Giriba, can you hear us?
We can't hear you.
Giriba, are you there? We cannot hear you.
Maybe he's having mic issues. That's okay. Hey, Motion Design, how are things over at Little's? How's the content pod going over there?
Hey, I think it's going great. Thanks for asking. Super excited. We have a call scheduled tomorrow, which I'm really excited about, I think. Or maybe it's either tomorrow or the next day. So I don't know if it's been decided just yet, but we are moving forward, and I'm super excited about it. So investigating some really interesting questions. So really excited about it.
That's really, I love that too. Can you give everyone here who might not know just a brief description of the Little Nouns content pod?
Ooh, good question. So Content Pod is a proposal that Brooke had written and put on chain in Little Nouns DAO. And what it hopes to kind of accomplish is establishing a supplementary funding mechanism for builders within Little Nouns DAO to allow for sort of ease of onboarding builders. There's a variety of different funding mechanisms that Little Nouns does between just a little funding program run by like a multi-sig and prop house and of course on-chain. But sometimes builders come in, they pick up their Little Now and quickly want to engage. And at least for me, it was a barrier that we saw collectively. And I think it kind of came out from that. The whole idea of Content Pod and trying to fund builders that way and bringing people together to collaborate and, experiment together through this like kind of test and production method.
That's
so
great.
Since then,
like a media focus, is the content you guys are focused on funding more like media types of content or just any content in general that's related to Little Nouns?
Well, it's definitely broad in scope. So what that means is content is a lot of different things, right? Mm-hmm. So it could be from written things. It could be media, multimedia. It could be IRL. There's, anything kind of can fit into that scope, which is really exciting and kind of casts a wide net. We have a hybrid approach where we set bounties that could be directly filled, but also we have a couple other methods where you can engage through kind of like an ongoing involvement by submitting your skills. So like saying, instead of just like directly proposing a I want to fill this bounty, you can say, okay, I have these skills, I have experience in this area. Here are some of the works that I've been doing for like nouns or little nouns or just in general. But I'd like to build stuff and I want to contribute my talent. So that was like investigating different areas.
Sorry, just a second. Zargs, can you please mute your mic? We're getting a lot of noise. Thank you.
Yeah, so that was just an area that we were looking into, seeing if we can kind of...
would you say that it's similar to small grants or NSFW? It's essentially like another place that people could sort of have funding within Little Nouns, but without having to do like an on-chain proposal, right?
I think there might be overlaps. Yeah, I think they're like kind of, I'm not actually too familiar with NSFW just yet. Maybe you can shine some light there. Sorry. Yeah.
There we go. So, we got a question.
NSFW is actually just a renamed and rebranded small grants. And so if you're not familiar with small grants within the Nouns DAO, I think just a couple of channels up above us, you'll see the channel grants and retro funding, but they are, another way that you can, or builders within the Nouns ecosystem can get funding. And so typically we're looking at funding that's like under the 20 ETH mark. So anywhere between sort of like 5 and 20 ETH. So it's where builders can go who don't want to propose on chain, or maybe they're not proposing through Prop House. And so I definitely, try to get people to go there who are maybe a little bit more experienced within the ecosystem. Maybe they've done a Prop House round and they're ready to scale sort of to the next level. Or maybe they've already created something nounish and then are looking sort of for retroactive funding. So that's small grants, but they just renamed to Nouns Strategic Funding Works. And so NSFW is what we refer to them as now. But what it sounds like is your content pod is sort of has that similar vibe to it. So it's like a place that people can actually get funding without doing an on-chain proposal, without going through Prop House or any of those other areas, right?
Yeah, so that's how it starts, right? That's our discussion currently. That's our investigation currently. That's the pilot, and there's also exciting things that we're looking into in the future, and but right now that's what we're looking at. We're focusing on establishing requirements within our community, and like what that means is just we're gathering opinions and seeing which ones repeat as essential needs for the DAO, and using that to guide Content Pod's vision, and then we're setting specific goals in how to reach those things. Sorry, my voice is like kind of like I don't know if it's a cold or something, but I'm just like, I feel like my voice is kind of if.
No, this is great information. I'm really excited. I did know that you guys were starting that content pod and stuff too, so I'm excited that you got to sort of share with us what's happening there. And then I also think that for anyone else that is sort of interested in that type of funding here within the Nouns, if you are interested in that small grants and that I was talking about, you're going to see all those conversations of people submitting there on Discourse. And so if you just go to the nouns.wtf site, I'll actually post the link here as well. But up in the menu, you'll see Discourse. That's where you'll sort of see all of those conversations happening of people requesting funding, or, the Discourse is actually a fantastic place for all types of Nounish information, because you'll see going on chain, everyone will post like their initial proposal there. And so that's where people get feedback. You're going to want to ask for comments. You want to sort of get down your final iteration prior to going on chain. So Discourse is definitely where I go to see sort of what's going to be emerging within the community, what's going to be put on chain soon. And that's interesting too, because someone had actually DM'd me where they could find out information of people who are like wanting to make proposals. And so I would definitely say the Discourse is going to be sort of the hub for that.
Sorry, what was the question, Toshi?
Like where can people find out different proposals and like different things being discussed within the Nouns ecosystem?
Okay.
So I'm going to actually put this link here for you guys from the site.
Yeah, that's actually really great. We were just discussing these kind of things. This is a huge issue within Little Nouns right now, is trying to aggregate this feed. So great job here.
Yes. And then basically what happens on Discourse then, right? So let's say you come and you're sort of interested, or you have an idea at that point in time, people can help and say, hey, this sounds more like a small grants thing, or NSFW, I'm sorry. Or this sounds like something that could be put on Prop House and stuff too. So I definitely think that if anyone has a Nounish idea, if you really want your proposal sort of even discussed, or even if you have no idea how to make your proposal, but you have a great idea, I would go there and like specifically put that there. There's a few people who are huge on the Discourse and big within the ecosystem. Andrew's one of them. I believe Maddie's on there as well too, but they're basically always going to be available to sort of give comments and feedback and stuff too. So I would definitely feel like you should never be afraid to go there and sort of throw around a couple ideas and see like what works and what doesn't. And that's where you're going to want to also go to sort of temp check any current Nounish ideas that you have. You will get some awesome feedback on there.
By the way, I just posted the link up, Toshi, to last week's Ask Us Anything, which was all about Noun Strategic Funding Works, and we had Noun 22 here fielding questions. There's a recording there on our Twitter if you want to check it out afterwards, if it's something that you're interested in.
Yes, that was a great space actually, and I think we had a couple people reach out and post on the Discourse asking for funding from small grants for their Nounish projects just after that space and stuff too. So I would definitely go there. And again, if you have anything that you post in there, your best shot at getting sort of eyes on it is going to be to copy that link, and you're going to post it up here above in the grants and retro funding channel. And so Noun 22 is very involved in that channel as well. And so just, I like to make sure that if you guys post anything, just, you have to tell us and you have to tell people in the community so they know where to look for things, right? Because there's so many ideas that happen. There's so many, like earlier at the very beginning of this space, we were talking about a great idea that hasn't been done yet would be like this master calendar for all the Nouns ecosystem. So
yeah, actually SQ is here. I saw him join after we talked about that. SQ, we were just reiterating how important that idea is, because we ended up with another conflict today between your brainstorming session over in Little Nouns and our weekly event here. So we need that calendar ASAP, the shared calendar idea.
I'm on it, and by on it I mean it's an idea in my head. No, it's yeah, I agree. I agree.
Didn't you do a prop house for it? I thought I saw a prop house on the top.
Yeah, no, it did not get the traction. It's
okay.
It continues to build the idea though, so it continues to grow. There's been no actual movement on it, but it will be entered again in this prop house round. But in actuality, it's gonna be something that's just gonna kind of start moving with or without a prop house, because it's just a good idea. Sometimes good ideas just need to move forward.
Yes, and that's actually something I would put, Nounish calendar, master Nounish calendar in the discourse. That seems like a fantastic discourse post. And then you should reference the times that you've submitted it to Prop House. And even if you start building that against NSFW is great for retro funding as well. So let's say you get that calendar up and running and you have all the, this month's events just already up in there. I would ask maybe for retro funding for that, and maybe for the amount that is for the prop house that you actually submitted for. Were you on this round? And was it for Nouns Launchpad?
No, I try to work exclusively through Little Nouns.
Yep.
It's because I'm a Little Nouns maxi, guys.
That's okay. It's good to like what you like.
That's okay. No, one actually an idea that, because we're trying to figure out how to utilize our nouns as best as possible. And actually, this goes back to Victor's brand steering and having the graduation up into the nouns, which is, it's like the idea, but it's us trying to always figure out how to do it. So one of the things with the calendar, because it is a large project, but it can be kind of built smaller and built up. And then we also wanted to mess around with a hackathon. So one idea that we were kind of trying to piece together was maybe started with like a 3-day hackathon where the goal is to build a calendar, have a giant community. Everybody, like, there's a winner, but everybody gets something for participation. And then the top 2 of those then go on to compete, and they can either assume other members from the losing teams or whatever, however you have it. The top 2 teams then go on to compete for, say, 10 ETH, where the top winner gets, the winning team gets 8 ETH, the losing team gets 2 ETH. And then that winning team would then take that main idea, assume the losing team if they need them. At that point, you may just have your team and work with it, and then push that into a formal prop on Nouns and have whatever the actual cost of building out something like that could have all these push notifications and be fully built out for the entire ecosystem, then have that be shouldered by Nouns. So this is also an idea that we're noodling around with.
That's kind of interesting.
I've been noodling too, and on International Nouns, we have a events listing that everybody can create an account and add their events to it. So this is already live. It does need some TLC as far as design goes, but everyone's certainly welcome to hop in.
Can you post a link to that, Zarks, in the voice public here?
Absolutely.
Can you tell anyone who doesn't know what International Nouns is?
So I have been loving kind of bringing the whole world together. So we've started a SoapBox on the Noun Square on Fridays at noon, where we're currently just having casual chat. And so I'm working to onboard anybody who wants to add posts, events, and pages to the website at International Nouns. And so anybody can just hop in there and add their stuff. It is translating. I've got 2 translation engines on it right now, so it's a little confusing, but there are a total of 40 languages that it translates into right now. And I'm also building a Nounish glossary page for that as well.
Cool.
And so when you add, it has a place you can add contests under events as well. So if you've got art contests and things that are online, you can add that. And when you add your events, you can add the language of your event. And soon you'll be able to sort for your language.
That's cool.
That is awesome and totally necessary. It looks like multiple people in the voice public chat are. Oops, sorry, Zargs. I think I'm getting feedback on. It looks like people are into the calendar idea. I also agree that essentially for proliferation, this would be huge because I believe it connects all the Nounish communities together. And you know, you couldn't possibly know about all these different communities and everything they have going on at one time too. So it would be awesome to have that hub there. Also, speaking of what you were talking on, SQ, with sort of this hackathon thing. I just was at this last week at ETH Berlin, which was a hackathon, and someone did DM me and asked if this is like a type of event that the Nouns would be into. I personally think that a hackathon is like an on-point IRL event that the Nouns could do. I haven't seen a hackathon proposal come through yet. I'm not sure, Toady, if there ever has been one, like maybe in the earlier days, or 9-9, if you know anything about that too. But
I think Will was actually talking about doing something on a large scale hackathon, almost having it be it's like a business, like having somebody run a hackathon as an events manager. So I do believe that there is kind of back channel working of setting something up on a grand scale.
As I understand it, there was a hackathon idea pitched back in November, if I'm not mistaken. If 9-9's there, if the ghost of 999 is there, he can maybe confirm or deny. But it didn't come to fruition. But I know there has been some talk in Nouner channels about having a hackathon. I definitely think it's a Nounish idea for sure. One thing that Will Price has been talking about that you might be referencing, SQ, is potentially doing some prop house rounds for certain subjects or mandates, like the events team and that sort of thing. So, and I think he's been talking about a similar idea for a hackathon. So definitely lots of ideas around that.
Can I jump in real quick again? Zargs, where is best to talk to you about this calendar? This is, I mean, as far as it goes, this is like perfect step one. This is it. It's here. It's built. It's fantastic.
Zargs, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. The Discord, I'll post a link to that as well.
And in the internationals?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. Sounds good. Perfect. I'm so excited. You got me so excited looking at that calendar. Thanks.
Love to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I get it filled up and then get behind, but if we can get it crowdsourced, we'll be rolling.
that is awesome. And then just back to that sort of hackathon idea, I think, you know, the prop house, the first ever mandates round prop house kind of showed us the amazing ideas that can come around. Because my idea, like my thoughts behind like a Nouns DAO hackathon would definitely be to inspire people to hack on Nouns, right? Be it like forking it or something with the governance or something with the auction. Like, I don't know. I just think it'd be so cool to see what sort of ideas would come out of that. And then as we were meeting people there who were familiar with Nouns DAO, it's almost like they themselves started thinking like, okay, so how could they build and like what would they build within that ecosystem as well. So
funny enough, a hackathon is basically just like a speed run of a prop house round, which is already a speed run of sort of regular on-chain governance. So I think it'd be cool to try at least once, see what comes of it.
I definitely do as well.
By the way, some people have joined since we've been chatting about the calendar and other things. So just wanted to reiterate. So I see like Crusher and Hamitaro and Mr. Boney and some other folks have just joined. If you're just joining, this is an Ask Us Anything community call. We've been doing it every week. This week it's no theme, just an open forum for anyone to ask a question if you have one about anything relating to Nouns DAO. If you're on Twitter, you're listening to a simulcast of the event, you can join us on Discord to ask questions or just listen in here and ask questions by commenting on the pinned tweet. So if any of the new folks who've arrived have any questions, don't be shy. Just open your mic and we'll let you speak. Psych Dre, how are you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, friends?
Doing great.
Good to see you.
How are things going with Nouns Latam?
It's awesome, man. It's in case you guys don't know, the Discords went up, and I want to give you, I guess, a personal thank you to you and Aptoshi for the weeks of work. I know that the feedback I've gotten is pretty awesome, and
you're not allowed to thank us anymore. You're cut off from thanking us. You can't come here anymore if you thank us anymore. You've done all the work. You've done all the work.
Hopefully we'll see it come true. I'm very excited to be in. I know you guys were just talking about like hackathons, so what's happening in Colombia with that DEF CON Bogota and everything else I have planned. So fingers crossed. Hopefully it gets a little bit of traction. But again, just thank you guys for all of the amazing feedback you gave me. Every day we're doing the spaces, and Nouns Latam is actually building a pretty awesome foundation to onboard Latin American folks into the space.
Well, that's literally how we built the Nouns Square to where we're at right now, is just by doing daily spaces. So there's something special about doing something every day, and it's definitely not easy. So that's kudos to you. That's cool.
Well, and I think what you'll notice when you're consistent and people sort of know you're always there, even if it's just a few people who maybe come, like you'll end up just being this hub where people always know that they can sort of come to your space whenever they want to check in. Do you think you'd be able to post your discourse link that you said you made? If you posted that in the Voice Public, we can get some eyes on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can do that. I think that's the chat, right? Yeah, I can certainly do that. It took a while. I mean, like I said, it's weeks of planning, and for those of you who don't know, I'm trying to pretty much head down to Colombia and start up an underground thing going on in 3 different cities, because I've been to that country. I love it very much. But yeah, I can certainly post a link, and I just again want to give you guys a thank you for the weeks of feedback and guidance. I feel like these spaces are great because I know it says ask us anything, but you really can't ask anything. And the space is so big that sometimes it's like a big woods and I kind of get lost. So, the feedback you guys kind of gave me is a little bit, helped me to see the path where I'm going at now. So thank you guys.
For sure, Dre. And to that end, if anyone here has an idea that they're noodling or that they want to work on, just, take that advice to heart. These are great spaces to show up and ask questions in an unthreatening environment, and we can help you and guide you towards, getting funded for those ideas, or just otherwise getting integrated into the Nouns ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think Psych Dre is such a perfect example of that process, right? Or going through that process. He came in and asked us a question and implemented, sort of the advice that we had from that one question, and then came back the next week and had successfully done that thing. So then he expanded upon that idea, right? And then asked another question and then implemented that. And then I think what that's turned into now has been these daily spaces for Nouns Latam. I think that's turned into Nouns DAO, and all of us here learning about Nouns Latam. I think you've probably gotten, I think I saw your first space even had like 40 people in it, which was incredible. And so I think you being really inclusive of your community, and then now expanding upon that by going to Discourse. So you're going to try to work through NSFW there. It's just really, to me, this like ideal order of how someone might do something within the ecosystem, and, how you get that idea from just like a question that you had into like, it's now a thing that you want to implement and get funded through small grants for these now IRL things that are going to be coming up in Bogota, which I believe is at the end of October. And so I myself am going to maybe try to get over there. It seems like it's going to be a huge event for the year and for NFTs and crypto in general. I know that everyone at ETH is making plans to go there.
If you do make it down to Bogota, Toshi, I think we'll be a great time, because it's gonna be awesome. I guess the only other little thing I would say is that I'm really, one of the things that really spoke to you and what you were saying is that you said, like, if something is working, why not just try and recreate it? And I think that's what I'm doing with Nouns of Time. I make this pretty clear on the Discord. So I was like, I love on the ground stuff. So let's just recreate that in South America. You know, it's Bogota, Medellin, and Cartagena. And it's just literally going on the ground and handing out merch and doing what you've been doing. So you are a fantastic inspiration, but I love that I can, like you said, that taking it, doing your own, like recreating it and doing it in a different style. I think it's wonderful. So hopefully, it's gonna go down, and we'll see each other in Cartagena, in Bogota, if you can make it. But regardless, big thank you guys for all the feedback. I don't have a question today, but I'm glad I popped in.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Mr. Boney, when are you doing daily spaces for the Australian folks? When's that coming? I'm just teasing him.
A daily Aussie space sounds like a wild time.
Geez, you really put me on the spot here. It's 4:45 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
GM, everyone.
GM.
Yeah, I don't exactly have an answer to that question. I'm still I'm just listening in at the moment.
It was just teasing you, but you did do some nice poster campaigns for Downs, which is Nouns Down Under. That was cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Actually coming up with the character, the kangaroo sort of character and the upside down noggles, because everyone always gives us, a bit of slack for being upside down in the world.
That's right.
Yeah. So I sort of, it's just a slow burn, the Downs project at the moment. It's going to be an ongoing sort of thing. Just slowly spreading the Nounish vibes down under. The issue is trying to sort of, I guess, break out of the Nouns ecosystem and sort of, try and break into other little pockets in the NFT space and sort of, noun pill some new people. I went to a NFT gallery opening here in Melbourne last week, and I took a bunch of Downs stickers with the upside down noggles, and I just I left them I left them on a bunch of tables and stuff, and whenever I saw people holding onto them, I would just go up and chat and try and give them a bit more info, which was super cool. And everyone's always like, oh whoa, do you own a noun? No, but
I think that's a good point. I find that's a good point of conversation when people ask that, though, because you'll be like, no, I don't own a noun, but here's how active I've been able to be. This is how great the community is, even for those who don't own nouns, which is the majority of the community.
Yeah, 100%. You don't obviously need to own a noun to be a part of all the fun, which is super cool.
That is definitely a question I get asked often as well, but I think that now that brings up a really good new thing that's going on. But do you know about Agora, Mr. Boney?
Yeah, I have seen some posts about it. I haven't had a deep dive into it, but I think it's to do with delegation. Yeah.
Yes, and it sounds on point with what you're doing, and I'm blown away, by the way, just by the international exposure of nouns and just the communities here in Zargs, what you're doing with trying to connect people with that calendar. It's so huge. But so
what our friend Darius is doing here. I just saw him join.
Yep.
Literally walking across war-torn countries for nouns.
Yep, we're totally following your journey. It is so cool. Agora was one of the winning props for that nouns mandate round that we were talking about, and so it's perfect for what you're describing, Mr. Boney, in the sense of, if you don't have a noun right now, you can be delegated a noun, and that's always been the case. But, sort of, what does that even look like, and what was the process? There was no real place that people could put themselves up for to say hey, I would love to be delegated a noun. So Now we have Agora, and that is nounsagora.com. I'm going to get this link here for you guys and post it here, but you can actually fill out a profile, talk about, you know, the things that you like within the nouns and like how you want to be involved. And so maybe someone who has a couple nouns, or maybe they're just a little bit too busy for governance, they can delegate you that noun too. So,
and how does it work up, Toshi? Is it if a delegator and a delegatee each swipe left, then it connects them? Is that how it works?
That would be so fun if that was the case.
It does. Yeah, sound a lot like a dating app, but yeah, that's super cool. And I hope to. I'm not sure if you have been yet, but I hope to see you of Toshi get delegated a noun. Yeah, I think you know.
I delegated my very first one.
Awesome! Congrats.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Noun 309. Got to participate in my first ever proposal voting on chain, so that was really exciting and stuff too. And I think here I'm going to post this link so everybody has this link for Nouns Agora. But the really important piece of this and like why it matters is because if you see like one of the stats there, average voter turnout right now is at about 28%, right? So,
which by the way is high. That's high for DAOs, but could be better.
Yes, it's high for DAOs, but we can always get a little bit higher. I think that this is just a fantastic way to sort of increase that. I believe that people, we see everybody in this space I see here working in the community all the time as well too. So I think it's awesome to sort of reward people who are heavily involved with just even that ability to vote, right? And so it's a great opportunity. I highly recommend you guys go make your profile if the governance piece is something you're interested in. If you want to be able to vote for these on-chain proposals, right? Absolutely go for it. It's also a fantastic place to see who is already delegated, what their nouns are, and then the things that they sort of stand for. If you go into the different profiles, you can actually see how each delegate or person there has voted. You get to learn about them personally and like their involvement within the nouns community. So again, as much as it's about nouns delegation, it's kind of also just a great place to go and see nounish people and what they've been doing within the ecosystem. So I'd like to see some more profiles there. And then I'd also like to see, nouns, nouners and noun holders who are too busy for governance or something. That's why I got delegated noun 309. He's going to delegate it to me for 2 months because he's got a lot going on right now, and I know he's working really hard with Rocco.
That's events.eth, right?
Yes.
Steve.
Yes. So if you're a nouner that, can't necessarily participate in governance as much as you'd like, delegation is a fantastic way to sort of, make sure that participation within the DAO still happens. And then, of course, now through Agora, you can sort of match and find your delegate that maybe is best suited with you. I also know that some people who delegate out their nouns still like to have those open conversations with people about each proposal. So again, it's just awesome for the governance piece of nouns in general, which is definitely like my favorite piece.
So I actually got a chance to video interview Yitong on Friday, and that video is going to be coming out on the Noun Square today or tomorrow. But one of the questions that I asked him was exactly that, like how do you reach the nouners who should delegate the most because they're not active because they're too busy or what have you, where the main problem is the fact that they're not active in the first place. So how do you get them onto Agora? And he's got some interesting ideas about how to do that. So you'll have to tune in to find out.
Nice.
Yay.
Yay. And it's pretty cool too because you could maybe I think groups of people, right? So maybe Nouns Latam could have like their Agora profile up, so I highly encourage groups. It sounds like we have a lot of different international groups in here too to even put up a profile to say, hey, Nouns Latam would love to be able to vote on chain as well. So
that would be really cool, actually. Yeah, like the Noun Square has a noun delegated to us. Obviously, Nouncil has 14, so it would be cool to see more of that.
Yes, absolutely. I love seeing like groups getting involved and using that vote.
We had a question from House of Dre on Twitter He actually dropped off the spaces, but he was there. I couldn't get back to him in time, but hopefully I'll ping him after he can listen back to the recording. His question was, how can I be a Nouns representative in Nigeria? And I guess this question could really be extrapolated to any area regionally, and it's actually a question that we've had before on previous Ask Us Anythings, but I think it's a good one to sort of treat here, because anyone can do anything that they'd like with Nouns. That's kind of the beauty of it. It's an open brand. It's a CC0 completely permissionless protocol, so you can really do whatever you'd like with Nouns. So if you're in Nigeria or anywhere else and you'd like to get more involved with Nouns, what we've sort of suggested in the past is try to figure out like one small idea to start with, whether it be, a cleanup is something that we've suggested in the past, where you get together the community and clean up a certain area, like Davin did recently in Uganda, or White Eyes Carl did in Singapore. Or you could do, if it's legal in your area, you could do a poster campaign like has been done in Hong Kong and elsewhere. But the idea being, find a small idea for proliferation or for community building in your area and do that first. You could either ask for funding from Nouns Strategic Funding Works, which we talked about earlier today, or you could just do the thing and then ask for retroactive funding later. But the idea is just sort of get a crew together and do something first, and then grow that into a community from there. So you don't have to like apply to be the representative for a certain area. That's not really how it works here. It's permissionless. You could just go do it. And if you're doing good work and proliferating the meme and doing public good, you're likely to get funded for doing it.
Nounsdale Brazil had another fantastic campaign that they did, the treasure hunt.
Yes.
And so that was able to get not only the people just there in Brazil involved, but it had them running around town taking selfies in front of specific sort of Nounish posters. And then on the poster, it told them specific Nounish communities to also tag. And so I think that is just something you should straight up maybe just do in your own place as well. I think that was just so brilliant, because it showed all the sub-DAOs and sort of other Nounish communities that the treasure hunt was happening, right? And so people were getting tagged over Twitter, on Discord. It was really, really, I thought, a very successful campaign. And speaking to that as well, a great easy start is to go see who's already been, how did these different Nounish communities start, right? So look at the past props that have won, look in the Discord, follow what Dre is doing down there with Nouns Latam, figure out what these different groups all over the world have already done successfully, and, mimic that idea.
Darius is a good example too, of creativity. Darius is just doing a walk across several countries with Noggles, and sort of meeting people and getting them to take photos with the Noggles, and it's just a really interesting project that's unique. So just try to be creative with it.
Yes, and I think we saw something similar with the Nounsdao Japan, right? They did the baton.
Yeah, that's still ongoing. We talked about it this morning on Prop House Spaces. By the way, the Nounsdao Japan community is just exploding. It's really cool if you haven't checked it out. We had almost 200 people tune into a Prop House Spaces from their community this morning. They're just, wow. They are just growing like crazy. But they've got this baton proposal, which was really cool, that Aptosi just mentioned. They made Noggles out of Lego, and then they started in Hokkaido at the northern tip of the country, and they're sort of moving town by town through the different prefectures and taking photos and meeting each other. And most of the people who are meeting haven't met before, so it's kind of neat. Basically the entire community will meet one town at a time all the way until it gets to the southern tip of the country. So to Aptoshi's point earlier about taking good ideas and running with them, I mean, this is an idea that has been working for the Olympics for, however many years the Olympics have been going. So that's a very replicable idea to sort of do a baton pass through your country. I'd love to see more of that too.
So cool. And I love the IRL stuff. It's so important. And then I think the thing I will always harp on in these spaces is, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your idea is, no matter where you post it or how you're trying to get that seen, you have to just remember to communicate that, right? Tell people, let us know. Post the link to what you got going on in the appropriate channels. If you want to know what those channels are, they're just kind of right above us in community. If you post on Discourse, make sure you post that link in grants and retrofunding. If you have a question answered here, just like PsychDrive from these last few weeks, and you build on that idea, post that link of wherever you're posting that idea. If you end up applying for Prop House for the first time, post that link here so we know. And go ahead and tag us and stuff too, because you're going to want to just always remember that there's not only is there so many things going on in the community, but we're just flat out not mind readers, right? And so we have to be told what you're doing so we know what's going on. And Darius, you've been a fantastic example of being so consistent with your updates and stuff too. So that being said, not only do we want to hear about what your new idea is, but if that ends up moving forward in any type of way, we want updates. And so we want to see what you got going on. It will just expand your reach within the community 10 times.
So happy to be here tonight. Actually, after 6 nights of sleeping in my tent, I have a roof over my head tonight because I had to get a hot shower. My back is in pain, so I'm happy that the call is tonight, so I can share as much as I can. Ask me anything.
Well, where are you now, if it's safe to tell us where you are?
Yeah, it's all right. I'm in a city called Kopan in Armenia. It's a medium-sized city compared to what that I experienced since now, and it has almost every facilities and everything. And I guess I can find some people. One of the issues that I had during this journey till now is Armenian speak Russia in general and Armenian. So lots of them don't talk English. And so part of my journey was about onboarding people and letting them know about Web3 and NFTs. And on that part, I was not that successful till today. I speak about NFTs with some people that could understand what I'm saying, and my T-shirt says "Ask me anything about NFTs." But there was like 4 people in this week, which was not as much as I desired. But I believe in this city, the youngish people, I see youngish people everywhere from this window of this hotel. So I believe in tomorrow when I walk in the city, I can have some conversation with people more than before, of course.
So you started in Iran and you're in Armenia now. Where are you ending up, for those that don't know the path that you're planning to take?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna travel in Roadmap. My project is called Roadmap because it's an actual roadmap on the map, and it's about an IRL journey with my Nouns glasses and my Nouns shirt and me, of course. I started from border of Iran and Armenia. I'm gonna travel 3,000 kilometers. I'm gonna head to Georgia after this country, and after that, I'm gonna walk across the Black Sea, which was one of my dreams. And I'm gonna head to Istanbul for the version 1. And to be honest, this is just the beginning. I love to travel the whole world with this project as much as my passport let me.
So how are you going to get across the Black Sea? I heard you say walk across the Black Sea, but I'm sure I heard that wrong. That's a different type of proposal.
Yeah, because I know it's getting a little cold because the summer is ending, but one of my dreams was to walk the beach road on the Black Sea. So in general, I'm hiking and hitchhiking both. When the road is hard, I'm gonna hitchhike, and when the road is easy and I can walk, even that my backpack is so heavy, but I love to walk anyway.
Wow, so that's basically all the way across Turkey then, as you're walking, right?
Yeah, in the North Turkey, but after that, there's an event in we call it Rainbow Gathering. That's in the south of Turkey, and after I get to Istanbul, I'm gonna head to Rainbow Gathering. That's a gathering of hippies and campers in the Turkey this year. So I believe I can talk with many crazy people out there.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Well, we throw around the term digital nomad a lot, but you're a true digital nomad for what you're doing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm proud to be a digital nomad, and in general, if I can get this idea to at least a year trip, that's gonna be a pickup leave.
Very cool. Well, keep up with the updates. We love to hear about them.
Yes, and don't
Of
forget,
course.
like you are one person, and look at everything that you've already done, right? So never be discouraged by the amount of people that you're talking to. You never know what one conversation with someone could turn into. So thank
Yeah,
you so
you're
much.
totally right. Thank you all for all the love and all the support. I've been in NFTs for almost 2 years, and to be honest, I invested in tons of projects, and after I joined the prop house, I won the grant, and they gave me the courage to go with this crazy idea, and I joined the Lil Nas community too. I'm thinking about flipping all of my portfolio to Lil Nas, and after that, maybe who knows, one day I can get a non. So LFG.
That's awesome. Good goal. I love it.
That's amazing, Darius. Thank you for sharing. Man, I want to ask you something. When I was in Armenia, we couldn't go directly to Turkey. We had to pass by Georgia. How are the things in the borders right now? Can you just go strictly from Armenia to Turkey, or you need to pass by Georgia?
Yeah, I have to pass by Georgia because, as you know, Armenian and Turkish people, they're not that friendly with each other. And at the moment,
the Turkish had that Armenian genocide, right?
What? Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Turks are so of the same mentality, and there are even some deputies who wants to see the genocide happening again. It's pretty sad, but that's the situation there. So yeah, Darius know better than me, but I was a volunteer in Armenia for 6 months, and I saw this mentality, and it's pretty aggressive and sad, but it's terrible, but it is the way the things go there. They don't regret what they did in the past.
Yeah, at the moment, if you know, in past week they had a serious war. 700 people and soldiers died in Armenia because of that. And based on that, whenever I camp, almost every night they search me twice. Once by police and once by military. Last night I was. I'm mostly naked all the time in my me time, and I'm getting some beers here at the night when I'm done with everything. And last night I was so scary because 3 men with big guns were attacking my camp at the night in the middle of nowhere beside the river. And yeah, I was drunk. I was not scared. I was just shocked because that was not what I was prepared for, you know. I was totally naked, and they were in my tent, and they were all men, you know. Well, I'm saying.
Well, we've said it many times before. Make sure you're being safe above all. It's awesome what you're doing, and it's inspirational. But don't put your personal safety at risk.
Of course, fam. I love to. Actually, when I get to Yerevan, the capital of Armenia, I'd love to talk with you guys. So if we can gather some fun to get a small gathering of NFT artists and Web3 community of Armenia all together at a cafe or a restaurant or something. I'd love to invite all of them, and of course the youngish people of the Yerevan. So if we can discuss that anytime that you think it's a good time.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. I mean, I think you could just make a post in the Nanoverse channel or something like that, or on the Prop House Discord, and just ask if there's anyone there who's Armenian, and maybe you can connect with them there.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And let me know when you're in Yerevan. Hello, I know a lot of people there. I can maybe get them in touch with you.
There you go.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Zarek, you mentioned in the chat there that International Nouns is planning to help groups set up Gnosis safes, as well as collections and snapshots. Do you want to say a quick word about that? That's pretty neat.
Oh yeah, so the foundation of getting a DAO to work is basically the governance system for which you need the NFT and you need the safes and the snapshot for voting. So it's not a Nouns fork, but it is enough to get a small group rolling with their own funding. And I think some groups have been kind of hesitant because of concern about the cost. And I think he's covered that retro funding is a way to help that, and International Nouns can help get a little bit started there and then do the retro funding for them. But it's the kind of thing some people will just hop right in and find it easy. Others will have trouble, and I'm not sure what the deal with translation is on those sites. So I want to be available to help everybody get those things going if they want to. And it was an important point that anybody can do it. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about hierarchies or anything like that. It's a DAO, so anybody who's interested can buy in and go to town. So we're here to help you. The International Nouns Discord automatically translates everything so you can talk in your native language, and it will come to me in English, and I can reply, and it'll come back to you in your own language.
That's pretty cool.
It should be pretty good.
Can you play that live game where you translate things back and forth until they don't make any sense? Can you do that?
We probably could, yeah. Twitter Spaces is a good one.
Zargs, I just have to personally say thank you. I feel like on behalf of the whole DAO, because since I've known you, you have been such a proponent and like ally to the whole international community. And you've always really pushed for them to have exposure and space and a voice. By all means, right? And so now you doing International Nouns with the TNS SoapBox, it is just so cool. And I just love that that's the thing that you've really taken on. And I think it's really, really valuable and important to the community. And you're definitely someone I think of, and I hope the rest of the international community thinks of you as someone who's very inclusive. And so I would, encourage anyone here who has an international community to befriend Zargs and get to know her if you haven't already. But she is incredible in making sure that you guys not only get onboarded within Nouns, but have a voice and get to talk about your own specific international community. So thank you, Zargs, so much.
Absolutely.
We do have a couple new people in here. We have been going for a little bit over an hour now, but if anybody has any questions, please feel free to just unmute your mic, go ahead and ask, or you can type that in the voice public, but this is just completely open forum. If you have any Nouns related questions at all about anything, just go ahead and feel free to ask that.
To your point there, Abtoshi, about international expansion and how important it is, it just like you have to remember how much of the population of the world lives in some of these areas that don't speak English. Well, most of the population of the world, right? Like a country like Brazil has 5 times the population of Canada, for example, just as one example. And, a lot of those people are concentrated in just a few cities. So huge opportunities for proliferation that, if we ignore them, it's kind of a silly thing to do. Hey, Karen Bonia, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, how are things with the dick butts?
Interesting.
Things you only hear in NFT calls. How are things with the dick butts?
Yeah, the dick butts are great. We're doing very well given the market conditions. Always have to bet on the memes in times like this. We're doing good.
I know you got connected with Seneca and you had a little chat maybe about prop posts. I don't know if
I did have a chat. And I have spoken to a few people about getting Prop House in there. However, we do need to get somebody to kind of just oversee what's going on with that. Getting the Prop House set up is one thing, but having somebody just kind of designated overseeing it, I don't know, community manager, something like that. We have to propose it to the DAO and, maybe compensate somebody for taking care of that, or having somebody that's gonna stick with it.
I think it would be worthwhile exploring for sure. If the experience of On Chain Monkey is anything to go on, they're just finishing their third round of Prop House now, and they're not even they're not like they're just ancillary related to Nouns. They're not really, they are CC0, I think. I'll have to check on that, but they're not Nounish in look and feel, but they have a lot of similar values to Nouns, but they decided that they needed something similar to Prop House for their own use, and they decided to give it a try, and their community is just loving it. Like, they're just finding it's doing all the same unlocking for their DAO as it did here in Nouns. So
yeah, I'm definitely pushing for it to happen. Being a meme project, we don't there's a part of the community that they like to have, I don't know how you say it. We've gotten this far just being everybody just kind of like shares the duties, and there's no real community manager, and the dev is kind of hands off, kind of like a Satoshi, I guess you can say. Sartoshi, is it?
Sartoshi.
So there's like, we can just continue doing things the way we do it without starting to assign roles and having,
well, hey, that's almost like some alpha here. So maybe if you're more of a forward-facing sort of type person, and Dick Butts is looking for a Prop House community manager.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we're still I've discussed, it's mostly behind the scenes what I've been discussing, and I need to put together a proposal for the community, something to digest and make sure that the side of the Dick Butts community that wants to keep things organic is addressed, and we can kind of approach it in a very balanced way, let's say, instead of going in. I know there's a lot of people that are pushing for organization, and then the other side is like, we're having fun and everything's going great, so let's just keep it like that. So
what I would say is that I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive. Like, I totally get the idea of having a community around a meme. I mean, that's what I love about Cryptodes. That's what really got me into NFTs in the first place. But I don't think that they have to be mutually exclusive. The nice thing about decentralized organizations is that anybody can step up and do what needs to be done. So maybe instead of it being one person that's in charge, if that rubs people the wrong way, just make a pod or something where like anybody who's interested in being involved with Prop House can join this channel, and they can just organize it and figure it out that way. And the other argument I would make to them too is that like Prop House doesn't have to be all like suits and ties. Like, it can be completely just a proliferation of the meme. Like, Dick Butts are great at memeing, and that's what makes you guys awesome. And so like Prop House can just be a way to unlock a way to like literally pay people for shit posting and memeing in a really effective way. Why not?
Yeah, so I guess on the one side, I've been kind of like thinking how to approach this. I was thinking of possibly asking Seneca, or maybe some people, to just kind of like do a Twitter space, a Dick Butt Twitter space, where we can have invite some of you to just kind of talk about that, because I'm just getting into Nouns now, so I don't even know if I propose something, am I coming from a place of knowledge, or am I just
Well, I do the Twitter Spaces for Prop Houses, so I can't speak for Seneca's availability, but if you guys want to set up a Twitter Spaces sort of AMA, ask questions about it, I'd be happy to attend and answer questions. Cool. Just let me know.
And on my end, I'm a builder as well. I like doing my art and creative stuff. So it's like a balance, like how much time spent on community management stuff, or setting this up, and how much time building and being creative.
Well, and then just something to keep in mind too, right? It could feel like a big project to be a community manager, but I feel like specifically just for Prop House, all you're really doing as that community manager is just making sure people know you guys have an open round during Prop House, B, that so people know how to like actually submit props, right? B, that you guys are highlighting the people that are there and having a space to be able to, for people to join, to be able to talk about what they submitted, and then to C, get people to vote. So they would just be really in charge of that really important piece that I keep talking about, which is just communication, right?
And I would reiterate again that I don't think it has to be one person, Aptoshi. I think totally like organizations like the Nouns Square have proven that like 10 people can manage something even that happens every single day without missing, and it doesn't require, you know, one person to be the leader or whatever. So I think if that appeals to your community more, then go at it that way.
Yeah, I think that's kind of because you know, the way I like doing things is kind of like, you know, take the bull by the horns and step up to the plate. Maybe you know, it's my approach to it that maybe, you know, it seems a little bit too you know, like my years of working in automotive and big projects and stuff like that, kind of like, you know, I want to like organize and, you know, get things up and running as soon as possible. But, you know, I'll probably break it up more into digestible chunks and get the community more involved and see who's, you know, who has time and who would just want to, you know, step into like different roles.
Well, here's the secret. Yeah. The secret alpha about putting things up for decentralized cooperation is that people who want to take the bull by the horns can still do it, you know. But if everyone has the ability to do it, to step up and do it, and you're still the guy that does it, you know, then nobody can complain that they didn't have the opportunity to participate, I guess, is the main thing.
Yeah, of course. I kind of hopped in because I was talking to Woody, and I have like I'm new to this community, and I see like, you know, we have you know, it seems like a well-oiled machine, like a DAO that's like productive and functional to a point with voting and stuff. And I had some ideas, and I was kind of curious about proposing something, but I'm not sure, like, do I propose it to the nouns? Do I propose it to little nouns? Do I propose it to both at the same time? Do I hop like in between one?
Sorry, so you have a project in mind and you're wondering where you should start with it? Is it?
You can do.
Yeah, like I want to get a temperature. I want to do a little temperature check on stuff. So I heard Woody told me like there's an ideas channel, but I'm like, do I start with the nouns and then work my way down to little nouns, or is it better to go nouns and then, you know?
So to answer both sides of that question, Little Nouns has a thing called prop lots. So that's basically their ideas engine. And so you can go there, and if you are a Little Nouns owner, which I think you are, because I see a little sandwich on the screen there, you could put your idea up and do a temperature check. But the only thing to mention about that is that then it's a public idea, and so just be aware that other people may want to collaborate or do the idea as well. But that is a way that you could get a temp check from Lils. In Nouns, there's not a centralized way to get a temperature check yet, but Aptoshi mentioned earlier that Discourse is probably the best place to go for that. So there's a forum. Aptoshi, would you mind grabbing the link for that, just because I'm screen recording here? And yeah, so Aptoshi will get the link for the Discourse, and you can just go on there and just post an idea that you have. And then you may need to sort of come in the Discord and sort of get attention to it, because there's so many props going up there that sometimes attention can be scarce. But you know, as far as nouns goes, that's the best way to sort of get attention for your idea. Either that or do a prop for like a small minimum viable product in one of the prop house rounds, which run every 2 weeks basically.
Okay.
Or you could tell us about the idea right now, and we'll give you feedback. That's also an option.
So on the dick butts, I'm like a big I love pixel art and stuff, and I want to get like the little nouns and the nouns, like both. I want to get these like animated sprite sheets so we can get them integrated into Web3, and you know, have sprite sheets available for game developers. And
what are sprite sheets for people who don't know?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Sprite sheets are basically, you know, if you go into Web3, you guys are familiar with Web3.
Web3, you're talking about the metaverse,
Web3.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what they do is like, you know, you can create sprite sheets, which is just like a sheet with every frame of animation. Yeah, so basically you do walk cycles, like walking right, left, up, down, like idle. So they'll be sitting there like breathing, whatever. So you basically get all the characters. Yeah, everything animated, and you can integrate it into Web3. So you can basically log into Web3. They see you have a little nouns. It'll call up the sprite sheet for that character, which will be all animated. All the traits are basically animated separately and then assembled. And so basically you can walk around, and if animators want to get a hold of this, you can create GIFs of walk cycles, and maybe kind of it can expand into other things. Like if you want to do like a side-scrolling game, you can use the sprite sheets to, you could pull the walk cycles out of that, and have a character jumping around and doing all sorts of fun stuff. So
sounds a lot more fun than spreadsheets. Not to be confused.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of put together like a test. I did one sprite sheet of my little nouns, and I have it ready to go and show. I'm just like, okay, where do I show? How do I show it? Should I show it? Should I wait till I develop it more? These are all questions that.
So if you already have one done for little nouns, I would say just put it in the next round of Prop House for little nouns, and see what the reaction is. And I mean, if you get that up and running and people like it, then you could always port it over to nouns as well, and see if there's interest over here, and maybe get funded again to work on it in a different capacity.
Okay. So Prop House
just opened up yesterday. I would love to see that on there. I'm a fan of Web3.
That's very cool.
Yeah, perfect. So they've got, as SQ mentioned, there's a brand new Prop House that just started for little nouns. So.
Cool. So, and this is in 2 weeks. So we have 2 weeks then.
No, it starts now, and you've got 6 days to put a proposal in. But if you miss that, if that's too tight, then you'll be able to apply again, not next week, but the week after, I assume, when they have their next round. So.
Beauty of the Prop House too, though, is you can kind of put in just a half-baked idea that is in process. It's kind of, this could be the boot. It's not a lot. It's just 1 ETH. So I don't know what that could be a lot. I don't know.
I actually really like half-baked sandwiches, so that's a great idea.
Yeah, me soft French fries, and I don't like the crispy. Feel free to put it on even if you don't feel like you're fully finished, because some things pass through Prop House that are like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and there's actually nothing that they've presented up front.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty much there to kind of put together. I just have to write up the proposal. I mean, it's one of these, I've done it already. I did it for the on the dick butt side. I did, I worked on getting all of the assets, sprite sheets done for that. So it's like I could just hit the go button and get it done.
These are great bear market projects, because when the bull does come back and everybody wants to be rushing back into these games, then everyone's going to be like, where's my sprites? Whatever.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because everybody wants to do stuff with their NFTs, right? So,
Well, make sure that you get that proposal in. That sounds too cool, and I've actually never heard anyone else talk about spreadsheets here. So that's an original idea. Sounds fantastic. I did put that link there in Voice Public. 10 people are going to get funded 1 ETH, and there's only 4 proposals so far. So you got to get in there. That sounds awesome. Okay. And then let us know if you make your proposal. Don't forget to then post that link. I know even if it's little nouns specific, I know that they have channels within their Discord where you can post that, but make sure you let us know here as well too, so we can go ahead and go over there and take a look at that. I have a ton of little nouns too, so I'd love to vote for your prop.
Okay, cool.
Toshi flexing her little nouns.
I might have to, because I might have to hit you up just to so I know where I'm going. I have 4 nouns Discords, and I'm like, okay, which one do I click on? Where am I looking?
You can DM either of us if you need help, for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Slide in those DMs.
Sounds awesome. All right. I appreciate you guys very much. It's very nice. All the information, and it's very clear and super helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. And by the way, if you have questions about what we talked about with Prop House earlier, and you need help, or you want me to come on a Spaces with Dick Butts and answer questions, just let me know. I'd be happy to attend.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Excellent. So we're a little bit over time here, I guess, Aptoshi, but it's been fun chatting, so I didn't want to stop us. Maybe we can open the floor. Yeah. Maybe we can open the floor just one more time for questions.
Doing it right now. We're trying to. There's nothing good.
Hey, Crusher, your mic is hot, my friend.
Yeah.
Crusher,
not that there's nothing good, but it's just.
This is where we need 9999 because I don't think we can mute him without those permissions. Let me see here. Did that work? Okay, good. I was able to mute him. I was able to mute him before he said anything embarrassing. That's the important thing. So as I was saying, if anyone has any final questions, we can open the floor one last time here. Any question goes. This is just an open forum for anyone who has questions about anything nouns. So.
I have a lead nouns related question. Can I bring that up?
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
For the props, we usually vote in the Discord, but I believe we have a bug over there because we all have only one vote for deciding about the font for props, which I believe is not fair. And I don't know if we have to find a better way to vote about the fonts on the.
You should have one. You should have one vote per NFT for every prop house. So if it's not working like that, then I'll give you the link here for the prop house Discord, and you should pop over there and let us know that it's not working, and we can look into it. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Though. Can anyone else confirm that bug?
Oh no, I didn't mean that. I mean, for example, I have 3 nouns at the moment, but I have only one vote. When we vote on the Discord, that's just a tick, a green tick, and yeah, that's it. And I believe we can discuss the fund for the prop house in a better way, so people who has more lead nouns can vote more on.
Well, this is what I'm telling you is you should have one vote for every NFT that you own. That's the way.
Oh yeah. It's not. Yeah. For me, it's just only one. I think or I'm mistaken anyway.
Okay. Well, we'll look into it. But.
Well, there's no. There's going to be so right where you see that one, you're going to have to hit the plus sign and add it. So it's going to let you cast as many votes as however many tokens that you have. But you got to make sure you're telling it, right? So if you're going to have to add, you'll see where the 1 is right there. And you just have to keep pushing like the up sign. But let's say if you have 3 votes, you're going to get that number up to 3.
But when you go to the site though, when you go to the site, you should be able to see how many votes are in your wallet at the very top. And if it's not showing, if it's not showing the right amount, then something's wrong. So we'll look into it.
Thank you very much.
DM me about it. Awesome. All right. Any other questions? I saw Unit down there unmuted. Did you have a question, Unit?
Hello. My name's Jack. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've been following the Nouns community a little while, a couple weeks. Maybe more like a month, and was immediately stoked on everything going on in here. And I posted a proposal today that was just finished over the last couple weeks here to introduce Nouns wine. And I just wanted to hop in the Ask Us Anything call and call attention to that. And
that's fun. So did you post
any feedback?
Did you post this prop up on Discourse, or has it been posted somewhere yet?
I put it on Discourse and made a little note in the Discord channel, the small grant.
Well, go ahead and post it in the Voice Public here, a link so that we can take a look. But it sounds pretty cool. I don't think anyone's done Nounish wine yet. I've seen a couple other NFT projects do wine projects, but I haven't seen anything Nounish before.
Hey, Toady, sorry to interrupt, but if anybody, if you'd like to be interviewed about your wine idea, I would love to interview you for one of our Food 9 o'clock spaces.
There you go.
That sounds awesome, man. I would love that and be very open to it.
Very cool.
Awesome. I'll reach out.
You guys connect. That's pretty neat. Small grant. So you're asking for funding from small grants for this?
I wasn't 100% on where this proposal is for small grants because I figured it'd be better to like kind of make some introductions and show and tell a little bit about like what we can bring to grow Nouns before we go all hot and heavy with the proper production and marketing proposals surrounding. So I've split up the kind of roadmap, I guess, into two parts. The first one being like a design focused product design and website design focused proposal that could fit into the small grants section so that we can kind of, you know, get conversation going and get some interactive feedback together and that sort of thing before we go big time, even though we're capable of doing both like very quickly.
This is interesting.
First time
So
that you've ever proposed anything on the Discord?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did a great job. I mean, this is, I want everyone to go click that link, right? Not only is your packaging really great, but you just instinctively like set up a great proposal. So you have your TLDR, you got some photos there for us to see, you have your introduction, we're gonna see how you're executing, and then you have your ask, right? So this is a great example actually of a proposal. That's really awesome.
The main
Thanks so much for that feedback. I've been, you know, bringing it to several people who are involved in the startup community. And, you know, I've been at this company now this is my company. I've been building it for 10 years and I'm kind of a research guy as well. So when I say I've been following Nouns, I've been really looking into how things are done so I could get you guys the kind of proposal that's not only worth your time, but hopefully can set a good example for everything Nouns going forward. I just think the Nouns whole decentralized autonomous thing is super rad and a great opportunity for us to bring our strengths to it. And I'm so happy it's being received as it ended.
That's cool. Yeah, I think Aptoshi's right. You've done a great job with breaking down the proposal into sections and roadmaps, so it looks really great in that sense. The one thing I would say to keep an eye on is just to make sure that the proposal itself is thoroughly nounish. Like keep an eye to explaining what this would bring to Nouns as a community, rather than just tacking the Nouns brand on top of an existing product. So I think in order to get broad support in the DAO, it'll be important to make sure that the idea itself is nounish. And I don't know what the answer to that is. I know that there have been previous proposals like the Moonbeans proposal that you might want to look into. I was
going to actually say Nouns Coffee as well. I'm going to post that link here for you to look at.
Yeah, Nouns Coffee is a good example. The Moonbeans one was kind of interesting because it was one of the first props, if not the first prop, that actually had a revenue share built into it, which was kind of interesting. And it was divisive. Not everyone was on board with that, but it did pass. And they're basically doing a brand of baked beans in the UK with a very nounish rebrand essentially on it, and then sharing the revenue back to the DAO. So that's one way of going about it. The Nouns Coffee, which Aptoshi just sent a link to, and which I drank this morning. It's quite delicious. They basically did a full branded launch of a Nouns branded coffee, and they would be a good case study to look at as well.
Cool. Yeah, I did see the beans one a week or two ago and thought it was pretty interesting. That's another reason why I wanted to bring it to small grants before bringing it to the larger stage, was to get that kind of feedback and get that integration with some of the details of the Nouns branding. As in our product mockup, it's just a rename of our current product. That is a mock-up I had done cost effectively to just kind of give a basic idea of what we're capable of in a cost effective way. That mock-up is not a Nouns designed product. That's what this proposal will be for. It will be for professional product design, when that is just a cost-effective mock-up with a conversion of our current branding into this mock-up to stay cost-effective before funding.
Yeah, just make sure that's really clear, and when you're communicating about the proposal, that the branding is not final and that's part of what you're looking to put together. Because otherwise, people may just look at the mock-up and say it's not for me, and that would, you wouldn't want to have people dismiss a good proposal for that reason. So I know that happened in particular with Moonbeams, where people didn't like the original mock-ups and they had to go back several times to get something that had broad appeal. But
right on.
Anyway, really interesting. We have a Nouns weed brand coming out of Italy. We have another similar Nouns weed brand, I think, out of California. We have Nouns coffee. So yeah, we're just making our way down the list of vices. So we need some Nouns wine.
Yeah, we do. We make great wine. So, anyways, I'll hop off the stage, and I just really appreciate the feedback and excited to integrate with you all a little more. And I'm looking forward to that interview thing on that thing we were talking about earlier. So cheers.
That's Sheffo. Sheffo was speaking there, and he's from a different DAO called Food Nouns, which is a sub DAO of Nouns. So he does the spaces where they talk about all things food and nouns. So that's why he invited you to chat, and you should definitely connect with him.
Fun, yeah.
Before we move on to the next topic, or continue talking, did someone say, is there not like a Nouns coffee brand called Low Nouns Coffee? I swear I saw something like that.
For what was it, EOJ?
There was like a Little Nouns coffee brand as well. Is there not, on top of the Nouns coffee that we funded?
I don't know about Little Nouns, whether they funded coffee or not. I know for sure Nouns brand did, but maybe someone from Little Nouns knows. Oh, there you go. Madrovsky just posted it, so I guess there is a Little Nouns coffee. That's like that's only if you just want a small cup of coffee in the morning, I guess.
Yeah, just a little coffee. Very cool. I didn't know that was there.
Yeah, neither did I. There's a Cryptodes branded coffee as well. Apparently Web3 likes its coffee.
We need a coffee for our GM, don't we?
That's right. There's no GM without coffee. All right. Well, I wanted to thank everybody for joining us. We got off to a bit of a slow start earlier, but it's been actually a great chat. And if there's any final questions, I'll open the floor one last time, and then we'll call it a day. Give it a couple seconds here in case anyone wants to unmute their mic and ask a question.
I just wanted to say great chat, and thanks for hosting, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you guys find these useful. As we mentioned earlier, we're alternating back and forth between open forum and themed AMAs. So next week we will have a theme for you. Last week we did small grants. But
Crusher has unmuted a couple times. Did you have a question, Crusher?
Crusher is actually the one I had to mute because he had a hot mic.
So. He's there. He's still up. He's there.
No, I know he's here, but I muted him because it was hot mic'd before. So
no. We can hear you right now, Tevin. Yes, I can hear you, Crusher.
And ended up being on an open mic. For some reason, when I go on my phone, it opens the mic up. It's ridiculous. But I just wanted to say thanks. Great chat. And next time I might have some questions next time. I'm still getting acclimated to the whole Nouns community, but I appreciate it.
Is there any sort of specific thing you want to ask now? You can always join us next Tuesday as well too. But if you have any questions now, just kind of in general, we'd be happy to answer for you.
No, not right now. I think I'm good. Thanks though.
Okay, awesome. All right, no problem.
Sorry about that, Aptoshi. I thought I had server muted him when he had a hot mic earlier, but it turns out I just muted him for myself, so that's why I couldn't hear him. All right. Any final questions here before we call it a day? Going once, going twice. Unmute your mic if you have something. Great. Well, this has been a great chat. It has been recorded. It'll be both available on the Nouns Square Twitter, where we were simulcasting since the start here, and also I'll be putting up a recording of the Discord event with the visuals and everything on our YouTube by tomorrow. So I'll send that out in case you missed some of it, or if you have a friend who might benefit from listening. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back here same time next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. With a themed Ask Us Anything that we will give you the details for shortly.
Have a great evening or morning wherever you are in the world, and thank you guys so much. That was actually a really fantastic space. So,
and Aptoshi, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, what? Happy birthday.
Birthday, Toshi.
Oh my God, happy birthday, Toshi. Congratulations.
You guys, isn't that so special?
Everybody slide in Toshi's DMs and tell her happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a piece.
Oh my gosh. It's just, Tody was even saying too, like, why are you working on your birthday? And it's just like, well, I just do this every day, and I couldn't imagine. And these have actually become like my favorite part of the week, really. And I really mean that. So thank you guys so much for coming and spending your time here with us. It's really special. And I really like these AUAs. And I think that we've seen some great projects come out of it. We've seen people really develop their ideas. And now, like, even this learning about this Nouns wine is so cool, right? So like Dre even is such a great example too of someone who's really just taken these spaces and just ran with it. So thank you guys so much for choosing to spend your time here with us today.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Beautiful NFTs. Darius, 1 second, please. Beautiful NFTs. Thank you for joining us as well. I've seen you here for the last little bit. If you have any feedback for us about the Ask Us Anything, please let us know.
Yeah, just send me a DM with your wallet address, please.
That's so cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Darius.
Night.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
See you next time.
See you next time.